G'day guys, my name is Dave Tran and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. And in this lesson I'll be teaching you how to play You Are The Reason by Calum. Now for the basics of this song, you will need a guitar in standard tuning and you will need a capo on the 3rd fret of your guitar. Now if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you're stuck in a rut and you want to take your guitar to the next level, then be sure to check out Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course which has exclusive content that I don't teach here on YouTube. Alright, so in this video I'm going to teach you 2 different ways of playing this song. The first method is finger-picked, and it sounds very similar to what's played on the piano in the actual recording. And the second method is a nice and easy strummed version for the beginners out there. Let's start with the finger-picked version, and just for the basics, our thumb will take care of the 6th, 5th and 4th strings. Now, index, middle and ring finger will take care of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings respectively. Those fingers shouldn't pluck any other strings other than the ones they've been assigned to. There are a few exceptions to that rule, but I will get to them later. Alright, let's start with the intro, and we'll start with a G chord shape like this, but you can play just a lazier G chord and just hold your index and middle finger down like this. Now let's talk about our typical picking pattern. Now our typical picking pattern is just going to be 3 notes. So it's going to be our 3rd string and then our 4th string twice. So just 3 notes like that. Now at the start of every chord or chord change, we're going to be hitting the bass note as well at the same time as the first note of that picking pattern. So for this instance, for our G chord shape, we're plucking the 6th string and the 3rd string at the same time. So 1, 2, 3. And then for the rest of this chord shape, we'll just be plucking the regular picking pattern, which is just 3rd string by itself and then 4th string twice. So in total there's 4 picking patterns for this G chord shape, except the first time we hit it, we need to pluck the bass note at the same time. So the G chord shape will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. It's really important that you do hold on to this bass note and let it ring out throughout the whole duration of the other picking patterns. Then for our next chord shape, it's just an E minor 7. So you'll just simply lift your middle finger from this shape and you just have your index finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. We're going to be plucking this for 4 picking patterns as well. So the E minor 7 sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. We then go to a C sus2 chord shape. Take your middle finger, put it on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. We're now plucking this for 2 picking patterns, except your bass note is now the 5th string. So we start with the 5th string and the 3rd string at the same time. So just 2 picking patterns there, and then we're going to go up to what we're going to call a D chord shape. So your middle finger just goes up 2 frets and your index finger is on the 4th fret of the 4th string. This is where we're going to change our rules a little bit for our finger picking. Your index finger can now come up to the 4th string and pluck that. So we're going to pinch the 5th and 4th strings together, and then we're going to pluck the 5th string twice. So that first group of 3 notes, 1, 2, 3. And then the second set of 3 notes is just 4th string and 5th string twice. So we're moving that picking pattern up 1 string. Now that particular variation only applies for this particular D shape that we're playing. So all together again, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And then we return back to our G chord shape, and our picking hand also returns to the general rules. And we're playing this for 4 picking patterns again. Remember though, you do need to start with your bass note. So in total, for the intro, which is also part 1 of the verse, it will sound like this. Now part 2 of verse 1 is almost identical except for the last 2 bars. Instead of going back to our G chord shape, we're just going to go to an E minor 7 chord shape. So you'll play this E minor 7 chord shape for 3 picking patterns. Again, starting with the bass note. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then for our final picking pattern, our bass note is the 5th string. So you'll be pitching the 5th string and the 3rd string together, and then the 4th string by itself twice. 1, 2, 3. So part 2 of verse 1 altogether will sound like this. 1, 2, 3. Next we get to the chorus, and we're starting with our C sus2 chord shape like this. We're playing this for 2 picking patterns. Again, you got to start with a bass note though on your first pluck. So 5th string and 3rd string together. And then we're going up to our D chord shape. Remember, our finger picking rules change here, and your index finger comes up to the 4th string. 2 picking patterns there, and then we go to our E minor 7 chord shape for 3 picking patterns, and then we're hitting the 5th string bass note for our 4th picking pattern, which sounds like that. Now you don't have to change anything with your fretting hand. It's similar to what we had in the last part of verse 1. So then for our second line of tabs, the C and the D sections are exactly the same. We then go to a G chord shape, play that for 2 picking patterns. Then we go to a regular D chord shape, strum it and hold it out for 6 beats. For our final line of tab, we have E minor 7, except we're only plucking the 6th and 3rd strings together and holding that out for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. Then we go to a D slash F sharp, so index finger, 2nd fret of the 6th string, middle finger, 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Pinch them 2, and then go to a G chord shape. We're pinching the bass note and the 2nd string together. Then we go to a G slash B like this, pinching the 5th and 2nd strings together. Then we're going to go to a C chord shape. To play this particular C chord shape, index finger on 3rd fret of the 5th, pinky finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Pinch those 2 strings together. Hold that out for 6 beats, and then we're going to go to a C minor bar chord like this and strum that and hold that out for 6 beats. C minor bar chord similar to a B minor bar chord, just up 1 fret. In total, the chorus will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, After the first chorus, there's a short break, and it's just based around this G chord that we have. Now we're changing picking patterns though. Our typical pattern extends now, so it's double in length, so there's 6 plucks per picking pattern. So for our G chord shape, what we're going to do, we're going to start with the same pinch, so bass note and the 3rd string together. And then we're going to go 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, and back on the 4th string. And that's our typical pattern. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Now for this particular break, we're going to play that 4 times for the G chord. Then we get to our second verse, and the chords are exactly the same as the first verse. So what you're doing with your fretting hand remains exactly the same. The only thing that differs is now we're playing a different picking pattern. So with this G shape, we start with 2 of our new picking patterns. Then we go to our E minor 7 for 2. Then we go to our C sus2 for 1 picking pattern. When we go out to our D chord shape, our index finger again comes back up to our 4th string. We're going to pinch the 5th and 4th strings together, and then you're going to pluck 5th, 4th, 3rd, 4th, and back to 5th. And that's played with your thumb, index, middle, index, back to thumb, which sounds like this. And then we're going back to our G chord shape, and our picking hand returns back to our normal position, and we play this for 2 picking patterns. So in total, part 1 of verse 2 sounds like this. Now part 2 of verse 2 is exactly the same, except again for our last 2 bars. Instead of the G, we go to an E minor 7. We pluck this for 1 picking pattern. Then we start another picking pattern, but we cut it off after our 3rd beat. So 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And then we're going to pluck the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings by themselves. So that last bar. And altogether, part 2 of verse 2 will sound like this. Now in the bridge, we're going back to our original picking pattern that was broken up into groups of 3, instead of that picking pattern that we had in verse 2. So we'll start with the C sus2 chord shape, playing this for 2 picking patterns. Again, you want to start with your bass note though. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Then up to our D shape, and we're going to change our index finger to the 4th string here. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Then we go E minor 7 for 1 picking pattern, D/F sharp for 1 picking pattern, G for 1 picking pattern, and then we're going to play that G again, but our bass note will now be the 5th string at the same time as the 3rd string. So those last 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And all together for the first line of tab. For our second line of tab, we just have our C chord for 2 picking patterns. And then we end with a regular D chord shape like that. And that's it for the bridge. Then for our outro or final chorus, it's all really stripped back. So we're just strumming chords once and holding them out. And the chords we have are just up here. For these strummed chords, we're just going to play the regular chord shapes, not the altered ones we've had previously. Alright, that's it for the finger-picked version. Now I'll teach you the really easy strummed version for the beginners out there who just want to sing and play along. First, I'll start with the strumming pattern, which is really easy. So our strumming pattern is just 6 down strums. Now what you want to do though is accent the 1st down strum and the 4th down strum. Now what I mean by accent is that you'll just play those strums louder, and what that will allow you to do is keep time, because you're basically playing in chunks of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. That's one strumming pattern. It's 6 down strums, but you're essentially breaking them up in half. Now up here in the annotations, where you see the chords in a set of brackets, that just means you'll be playing that chord for 1 full strumming pattern. For this strummed version, we're going to be using our full open chord shapes. We're not being lazy here. So for our G chord shape, you want to hit all the strings. For our E minor 7, you'll leave your ring and pinky finger where they are, and your index and middle just go to the second frets of the 5th and 4th strings. Then we're going to go to a C add 9 for our C chord. So again, leave your ring and pinky finger where they are. At C add 9, we'll go to a regular D like that, and then back to a G. And that's it for our intro and first part of the verse, really. So the intro and part 1 of verse 1 will sound like this. Now, part 2 of the verse will be exactly the same except for the last 2 bars. Now, instead of the G chord, we go back to an E minor 7 like that. And then for the final bar, it's an E minor 7 to a G slash B like this. And each of those chords is going to be played for half of the strumming pattern in that last bar, which sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. When we move to the chorus, strumming pattern doesn't change, just chords here. C add 9, D, and then E minor 7 for 2 patterns. And then for our second line of tab, it's C add 9, D, G, and back to D. Now in the third line of tabs, we cut out our strumming pattern and we're just going to strum each chord once. Except where you see 2 chords within one set of brackets, it just means each chord is held out for 3 beats. So E minor 7, D slash F sharp, G, then G slash B. And then you're going to play a C, you're going to hold that out for 6 beats, and then go to a C minor for 6 beats as well. So the chorus will sound like this. Then finally the bridge is really nice and easy, so we have C add 9, D, and then we go to our E minor 7, D slash F sharp, G, G slash B. That's it for the first line of tab, and then our second line of tab is just our C add 9, and then we hit the D and hold that out. Now if you're confused by anything in this simple strum version, then head to the playthrough at the end, and that should clear some things up in context with the song. So now I'm going to be doing 2 playthroughs of this song. The first playthrough will be just the finger-picked version, and then the second playthrough will be the strummed simple version. I have my good friend and fellow YouTuber Amanda singing on top. Her vocals sound absolutely amazing in this song, so be sure to check out her YouTube channel. The link is in the description below, and I think she's doing her own cover of this song as well, so be sure to check that out. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice play along to, and see how you go.
I'm losing my climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. 'Cause I need you to see that you are the reason. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. 'Cause I need you to see that you are the reason.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you're stuck in a rut and you want to take your guitar to the next level, then be sure to check out Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. As always, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and click the little notification bell as well so that you don't miss out on my updates. Leave your thoughts, comments, questions, or requests down below, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.